Welcome everybody to the first episode of the Valley Ball podcast covering UTRGV football and the start of Division One football here in the Rio Grande Valley. I'm Bryan Ramos.
And I'm Ivan Palacios, and it's finally here, Brian. Week one kickoff for the UTRGV Vaqueros. It's been years in the making, man, and we're just a couple of days. As of today, we're probably a little over 48 hours away from that opening kickoff of D1 football in the Valley, man. How are you feeling, man? You've been on for this ride for a while now.
Yeah, just exciting times, man. I mean, we're both UTRGV alumni, man, and we both came up there at UTRGV covering sports, and now here we are covering them for the Monitor and RGV Sports. But I mean, man, it's just exciting times here in the Rio Grande Valley, and a lot of it has to do with UTRGV athletics and everything that they got going on right now. It's just amazing to see the transformation that they've undergone. I mean, and it's not just football, but a bunch of other sports. But man, I mean, football is the headliner. You know what I mean? Division One football here in the Rio Grande Valley. It was years in the making, and now game week has finally arrived. UTRGV will kick off their inaugural football season Saturday, August 30th, against Sul Ross State at 7 p.m. at Robert and Janet Vackar Stadium. And man, it's going to be a sellout crowd, Ivan. I mean, just you've seen the buzz just around the community. It's been everywhere. Just your thoughts as the UTRGV product, and now kind of seeing just the the transformation going on and the start of UTRGV football.
And I think it's the same for you, Brian. What I'm feeling, it's, both being from the Valley. We were born, we're raised here. This is our home. And growing up, I always thought high school football was the coolest thing ever. Well, guess what? Now we got NCAA D1 football in our own backyard. It's exciting times, man. It gives me the chills thinking about it. I can only imagine what these younger kids are, kind of looking forward to now. It's not just Friday night lights. We got Saturday night lights. So something to be proud of, just being from the Valley, having this moment here and being a part of this moment. It's very exciting, and we're older now. We get to experience it on a different level. Unfortunately, we can't hit the field anymore, but hey, we're still going to be in the field in a different way.
Yeah, I was asking Jonah, hey Jonah, can you check if Jonah Goldberg, he works with UTRGV. I was asking him, hey Jonah, can you check if I have any eligibility left? But no, unfortunately, no, man. But no, exciting times, man. UTRG Vaqueros football. It kicks off Saturday against Sul Ross State at Robert and Janet Vackar Stadium. Tickets are a hot commodity, man, and they're hard to come by. And if you are coming by some, I know you're paying above market prices. So, man, it's crazy right now. And yeah, like Ivan said, man, we're just thankful to be able to cover it and be a part of it in some small way. But yeah, this is the first episode of the Volleyball Podcast where myself and Ivan will be talking about UTRGV football, giving you in-depth analysis, previews, breakdowns of all things UTRGV football, and we'll be coming to you on a weekly basis as the season progresses. I mean, it's a long grind, you know what I mean? It runs through November, starts here August 30th, and it all gets started here Saturday. So we appreciate you coming along for the ride. And yeah, throughout the season, you'll find us. You can find us interviewing some coaches, interviewing some players. We'll have them jump on here and give you guys a little inside look on UTRGV football and everything they got going on in year one. So, man, these guys have been at it for a long time. Coach Bush was named the head coach in December of 2022. Like as you said, it's been 3 years since he's coached a football game. Some of these football players have been on campus since August of last year. That was their first time joining for that practice season, and they went through fall practice season last year, just working against each other. Went through spring ball and this past spring semester going against each other. Summer workouts started in June. Fall camp started July 31st, and then now here we are, just days away from kickoff, and the team is taking shape, man. Ivan, just your thoughts on there's, six former Power Five conference guys on this team, Ivan, and then several guys from the FCS level. Just your thoughts on how the UTRGV roster is taking shape and what they're looking like as they enter year one.
We both had a chance to be out there. You more so at practice, but the guys look good. Obviously, early on there was some growing pains, and you're to expect those when you're building a complete team from scratch. But a lot of these freshmen that came in, they've bought into the program. These transfers that come in, you can tell they bought into the program. I mean, it. I mean, people don't overlook the Vaqueros, and I mean, yeah, I mean, we're not expecting a national championship in year one. I mean, that'd be great, but these guys can play ball. I mean, there's a reason they were at those Power Five level, that they were at those bigger colleges, and now we get them here as a part of this UTRGV football team. It's going to be fun to watch to see how these players can, that maybe we're looking for that next chance. We're looking for a chance to get onto the field. Some people just need that chance, and you know what? Once they got that chance, they're going to run with it, and that's what I expect out of a lot of these guys. It's a new start for some of these guys. It's a fresh new program, and it's a chance for you to just leave your mark. You're the first class in UTRGV history. You're gonna be one of those first starters ever. Go out there and leave your mark. So it's just exciting, man. I feel like these guys are hungry. They're fired up. You saw that. You got that quote yesterday. I'm not gonna repeat what he said on here,
Yeah.
but it's a heck of a quote. You could tell these guys are excited out there, man.
Yeah, you know what? We'll go ahead and splice that clip in here right now from UTRGV running back Nathan Denny. Here it is.
I mean, the boys are buzzing. We've had a countdown clock for 500 days up on that wall, and we got about 3 days and a few hours left. So, excuse my French, but the piss is hot, the tails are wagging, and we're ready to go.
Shout out to UTRGV running back Nathan Denny on that one, man. They're fired up, man. You know what I mean? They're ready to go. Exciting times here in the Rio Grande Valley as these guys have been grinding, and now kickoff is finally here. And I know you said you're not expecting to win a natty, but hey, man, we're coming for the natty. We're coming for the Super Bowl. We're coming for whatever they win in the CFL. We're coming for all of them, bro. We dominating North America. They bring in flag football in the Olympics, the UTRGV Olympic football team that these guys put together. We're coming for that too. But no, man, it's just exciting times here in the Rio Grande Valley, and it gets started, man. And as you said, Ivan, we'll start with a quick look at the UTRGV roster entering their Week 1 matchup against Sul Ross State. And the depth chart is fluid. There's been changes from practice to practice. You know what I mean? Coach Bush has said he wants to play a lot of guys here in their first 4 weeks of non-conference play before, of course, they open Southland Conference play against Southeastern in about a month. But yeah, so I expect a bunch of guys to get some run here in these first few weeks. You know what I mean? 2, 3, 4 deep guys just getting some run because I mean, hey man, it's Division I football to start of something new, and we got Sul Ross State to open it up, and I know that a bunch of guys are looking forward to getting on the field, playing their first game in forever. Some guys haven't played in 2 years, some longer. So yeah, it'll be exciting for these guys to strap it up and finally hit somebody else as opposed to just going against your teammate for the last year, like some of these guys have. So, yeah, exciting time. So we're going to run through kind of what you can expect the UTRGV roster or starters to look like coming into Week 1. And of course, Ivan, I mean, we got to start with, or you know what? Before we get into the roster, let's get into these 12 Valley guys that we got on this team, Ivan. I mean, the first team college football team in UTRGV history and Division I football here in the Rio Grande Valley, and we got 12 Valley guys on the roster. I mean, it's just I think it signifies, you know what I mean? It's a good symbol to show, hey, man, Valley football has leveled up here at the high school level in recent years. And then, of course, to see UTRGV add some, have 12 guys there as part of this to start it up. It's kind of historic for these guys. So, Ivan, I mean, just your thoughts on those 12 Valley guys here on this first UTRGV roster, which we can run through here in a second.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's something to be excited about. We've been covering these guys for the past couple of years. Some of these guys we've seen since they were freshmen, sophomore, man. So now to see them on a UTRGV roster, I know some people want more Valley kids, and I'm sure there's more coming in the future. But these 12 guys, they're a special group, man. I mean, these are some of the best players to come out of the Valley. We saw that for ourselves on Friday Night Lights, and now they're trying to translate it over into some success here with the Valley's own team. And one of the biggest names to join the team is Sergio, Ale Aparicio, my bad, not Sergio. I know that's his name, but we know him as Ale. The
Yep.
kid was a stud at PSJ North, man. Was quarterback over there. Now he's playing receiver, man. You got a chance to see him play a lot. I mean, and kid's just an athlete, man. I mean, just talk about him a little, and him. He was one of those first signees from that first class, especially for that big PSJ North class.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, Ale Aparicio, man, he was of course quarterback at PSA North. He signed with UTRGV as a quarterback and has moved over to receiver, and he's been doing his thing, man. You know what I mean? Getting in there where he can and contributing in any way. So he's a hard worker. You know what I mean? He's in there grinding just like everybody else, man. College football, it is a grind, man. Fall camp, I mean, shoot, they'd get started at 7 in the morning with meetings. They'd have breakfast before that. You know what I mean? So you got to be there before 7, and then of course they have dinner, team meetings, and be together all day. 8:30 a.m. practices, weights during the middle of the day, walkthroughs at night, and then now here they are. And man, it's a grind for all of them. And these 12 Valley guys are really, you know what I mean, committed and putting in the work with everybody. But yeah, let's run through this list of former Valley players on the UTRGV roster. As you said, Ivan, Ala Aparicio to start things off. We're going to go in alphabetical order. Then we got Makai Blue, redshirt freshman tackle from Harlingen Marine Military Academy. He was one of the first Valley guys, actually, I think the first Valley guy
Correct.
to,
Yep.
to commit to UTRGV. So shout out to him. He's a big dog there on the O line, playing right tackle for UTRGV. And then Ivan, we got Los Fresnos kicker, JJ Contreras. I know you're familiar with him. Had one of the biggest legs here. And so Los Fresnos dude. Then we got a few more to run through. I mean, Thomas Domian, offensive lineman who was at Blinn last year, he played at McAllen Memorial, and he transferred and has worked his way working with that offensive line. Abram Garcia, AB. La Jolla Palmview, redshirt freshman defensive tackle. He's a guy that's been working there in the trenches with them, and of course on the defensive line. And these Valley guys, a lot of times, what they're asked to do is when UTRGV brings guys in on visits, these Valley guys are the ones showing them around and taking them around on their visit and showing them, you know what I mean, the hot places to go, and you know what I mean, the cool things to do here in the Rio Grande Valley. So yeah, and then Ivan, another big name here, leading into actually the next three names, if we're going in alphabetical order, pretty big here. I mean, Fabian Garcia from San Benito, Ivan, he was just a few years ago lighting it up for the Greyhounds.
Yeah, man, the kid was a dog. And I remember going to his signing day, talking to Coach Gomez there, and he was said UTRGV is getting a special player here. He was, he wasn't recruited heavily coming out of high school, but when he saw the opportunity to stay home, he took it, and he's been, we've seen him run with some of these, second, third groups early, and I expect him to kind of work his way into the lineup. He's just a playmaker. He's a football player, man, and he's not the biggest, but he's going to run between the tackles. He can break it out wide. I mean, he left San Benito as the all-time leading rusher in that program, which is saying a lot. I mean, San Benito is a very historic program for him to come out in 3 years. He started as a sophomore, was our newcomer of the year for the Herald, offensive player of the year as a junior and senior for the Herald Star. I mean, the kid's a dog, and I'm glad to see him stay home, have that opportunity to play here, and he's an exciting player to watch. I think fans are gonna love him. Not the most talkative kid. He's a humble kid, but he does his talking on the field, and I expect much of the same, here with UTRGV from Fabian, one of the top running backs to ever play in the Rio Grande Valley, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And then to keep things rolling, I mean, we'll dive into Nathan Huerta, a junior transfer from Harlingen High, and he played his college football at Texas State these past couple years on the defensive line there at Texas State. Now here he is back at UTRGV working with that first team defense. So we'll dive into him and a little more once we get into the first team breakdown. Then, of course, Eddie Lee Marburger, man. I mean, record setting quarterback here. I mean, he transfers from UTSA to be the Vaqueros year one starter. And I mean, yeah, the things he did. I mean, he got some regular run there at UTSA for a while there. You know what I mean? Some spot up duty. And now here he is to lead the Vaqueros in year one. So we'll have plenty of things to say about Eddie Lee Marburger. And as we watch him here lead the Vaqueros in year one. So excited to see him and his return back to the Rio Grande Valley. Then Frank Medina, man, I mean, redshirt sophomore offensive lineman, like two San Benito Greyhounds, the second on this team as Fabian. I mean, hey, man, he's just a dog. Frank the Tank is his name, and you better get to know him. Number 70 on the offensive line. He's a dog out there. He may be the smallest one, but hey, man, good things come in small packages, man, and he'll take it to you. And then to round out the group, we got pair of Edinburgh Vela Sabercats, Jamal Pauly, former Edinburgh Vela running back, and Jackson Shoup, former Edinburgh Vela tight end. A couple studs there who were in the same class and both signed with UTRGV coming out of high school. And then, of course, Ivan, the most recent addition to this roster. Claudio Torres, freshman from Brownsville St. Joseph, athlete, kind of do it all. He's playing receiver for him. But yeah, I mean that's the group. I mean, just your thoughts on the group as a whole, and making history as part of this first UTRGV team.
I mean, it's very cool to see, man. I mean, especially some of these guys that were maybe at Texas State, like Nathan Huerta or Eddie Lee, that was at UTSA, for them to come back home and want to be a part of that. It's just exciting to see, and it just goes back to the whole rallying the valley. And what better way to rally the valley than bringing guys home like Eddie Lee? You know what he did here. You got to see it firsthand, how he took that Pioneer team to another level, and those deep playoff runs, those magic moments that live on forever. And then guys like Nathan, Nathan Huerta, he was a dog at Harlingen. The guy was a disruptor on the D line, and now they're coming back home. They're projected to be starters, and I expect them to be a very special part of this. And it's just cool to see that the Valley is rallying around their own here.
Yeah. Yeah, as Eddie Lee Marburger said, man, this really is the Valley's team. You know what I mean? It is UTRGV football, and shout out to all the guys that have come in from all over Texas, not just Texas, but I mean, Ivan, this team has guys from all the way from Hawaii on this team. You know what I mean? One running back was born in Haiti. He has a really cool story, which we'll get into here as we talk about some of the players and move forward throughout the season. So yeah, guys from all over the place coming into the Rio Grande Valley, embracing it, and becoming Valley boys themselves. Because hey, man, these guys are Valley boys. I know they call them Valley boys when they see them, but hey, man, now you're all Valley boys. There's 113 guys on the roster. You're all Valley boys. You know what I mean? And so we love it. We embrace it, and we look forward to seeing you guys out there putting it on. And we appreciate you guys and all the hard work that you guys have put in. You know what I mean, to getting this thing started and giving the Rio Grande Valley something to root for. Talked to Amari Pouncey yesterday, defensive end, graduate student. He's from California, and one thing he said was, "Hey, man," I asked him about the community, the buzz, and everything, the campus, and so one of his answers was, "Hey, man," so somebody came up to him and told him, "You're our NFL team." You know what I mean? So it really is like that, man. You know what I mean? So hopefully the Valley shows that support, because these guys are out there putting in the work every day, making history at UTRGV. So Ivan, I mean, that was a quick run through of the Valley guys on the roster. Now let's get into the week one projected lineup. I've been out there at practice, kind of getting a look at everything going on. So this is just a projected lineup. There will be no official depth chart released until the game. So yeah, these are just projections at the moment. You know what I mean? Some will be right, some will be wrong, but it's basically an educated projection based on everything we've seen through fall camp. Only missed two practices of fall camp, so I didn't put in as much work as these guys, but I was out there, you know what I mean, trying to learn as much as I could about the Vaqueros. So that's why we're going to give you the deepest and most in-depth look at UTRGV football here in the 2025 season. So Ivan, if you want to, I mean, let's look at the roster, man. I mean, we got the projected depth chart pulled up. I mean, where do you think we should start?
Let's start with the big boys in the trenches, man. We got a Valley guy in there for sure, and starting at left tackle, Wes Thompson. Sorry about that. Transfer from I believe East Mississippi Community College. I'm sure y'all know where that is if y'all seen Last Chance U, if I'm not mistaken. They're on there, but I mean, big guy. Standing at 6'6", 324 pounds. He's a big dude there, and then the left tackle to protect Eddie Lee's blind side, and just to keep things rolling, we got left guard Nick Hughes is projected at left guard. Abram Nicholas at center, and our guy from San Benito, Frank Medina, at right guard. Man, you talked a little bit about him. You got to hear his story and how he got to this point. I mean, going from Kingsville. I mean, I'll let you tell a little more about that, because you talked to him, and you got a little bit of a different side that maybe people don't know.
Yeah, Frank Medina, man. He's a grinder, man. He played at San Benito, was a stud offensive lineman, went to Texas A&M Kingsville, redshirted, didn't get on the field, didn't really enjoy his time over there. It was a struggle for him. Had some, you know what I mean, mental battles going on. Didn't think he'd ever play football, and to be honest, I mean, he's been open about it. He's an open book, and shout out to Frank, because I mean, the only way you can, you know what I mean, conquer mental health and fight it is by putting it out there and broadcasting it. And he's been an open book about it. But yeah, he fought through some mental health battles. Didn't know if he'd still be around. You know what I mean? And now here he is, working with the UTRGV first group offensive line at right guard. Climbed his way up, made the team as a walk-on tryout guy, and started out as a bag holder, then third team, second team. Now here he is, first team. Suffered a knee injury in the spring game. that knocked him down back down to the second team, and it just took a week or two of fall camp for him to work his way back into that starting lineup. So Frank Medina, shout out to him, absolute dog, 5'11", it don't matter, he'll put you on your back, put you in the dirt. So yeah, man, absolute stud. And then right next to him, as we alluded to earlier, guy from Hawaii, Gannon Lauer, initially born in Ohio, grew up in Hawaii, and you might be able to see him, man. He's a big dog, man, 6'4", 303 pounds, and man, he's got the long blonde hair flowing. We've done some interviews that you can find on the rgvsports.com YouTube page. Him and Eddie Lee Marburger had a fun one, but yeah, man, absolute dog there in Gannon Lauer there at right tackle. Some absolute studs up front, and yeah, as you said, Ivan. I mean, Abram Nicholas. He's a Blinn transfer coming in. He actually was at Blinn with Thomas Domian and Connor Cortez, who's the UTRGV long snapper. So three guys coming from Blinn. Abram Nicholas working in there at center. Nick Hughes. He was one of the first 10 guys to commit. He's from Central Catholic High School in San Antonio, and they're known for producing some big dudes on the offensive line, and he's one of them, man. He's been here since day one of last year, and he's there starting, one of the only redshirt freshmen starting on offense. You know what I mean? So one of the only day one guys that's getting that opportunity to start. So he's a dog. And then, as you said, Wes Thompson, man, he's a guy. He compared the way UTRG wants to play to the bad boy Pistons. So that they want to play nasty, they want to be ugly, and they want to mix it up. So that's the front five, man. And really looking forward to seeing them getting things started and setting that tone offensively.
Yeah, man, and just kind of keep things on the offensive side. Let's talk about the receivers, man. At the left wide receiver, we got Tony Diaz. He was at the UTRGV's media day, and if you play college football, man, if you download that roster for the South End Conference, he's 99 speed, 99 everything.
Yep.
Got him in the Heisman running here. So, but no, in all seriousness, I expect him to be a dog on that field. I mean, it's not just college football. Obviously, that the game's cool and all, but he's one of the top receivers. We've seen him in practice. He looks good to go. On the right side, we got Xavier Noland, number 4 over there. Slot, we got Kyron Lee, and at wide receiver number 4, we got Tavian Courts. I mean, just what more can you tell us about this receiving group we got here? At least the starting 4 that you projected.
Yeah. These four guys have been running with the first team through fall camp, and man, you touch on Tony Diaz, Ivan, and man, I think he had the play of fall camp. It was just a deep ball to left. He goes up and skies for it, and defensive backs right there with him in good coverage. But Tony Diaz finds a way to come down with it. It was like had to be a 40 to 50-yard touchdown pass from Eddie Lee Marburger down the left side of the field. And Tony Diaz is a stud, man. Every practice he makes probably one play like that where you're like, Jesus Christ, how the heck did that happen? And he's an absolute stud. And then on the other side, you got Xavier Nolan. He may not be the biggest receiver, but man, his vertical, he plays like a big receiver. And he played high school ball for Coach Bush actually, and he spent his freshman season on the practice squad at Texas State. And then of course Tony Diaz from San Marcos. Shout out to those two dudes. Those guys are boys. I think they're roommates actually. So they're starting on the outside. And then Kyron Lee, he comes from Atascocita High School. He's came down here along with teammates Zion Brown, Cameron Glenn, all three of those guys in the receiver room. Kyron Lee been working as a starting slot receiver, and he's been doing some really good things there, operating out of the slot. Worked his way back up after suffering a little bit of injury in the spring, and then man, Coach Bush said, man, it just took him a little bit of time to work his way back in that first group. And then Tavian Cord, a guy that Eddie Lee Marburger has built connections with, played at Pflugerville Wise. Actually, Eddie Lee Marburger and Tavian Cord played against each other in high school in the second round of the 2019 playoffs. Eddie Lee Marburger's Pioneer Diamondbacks beat Pflugerville Wise, and Tavian Cord 28-21, something that Tavian Cord didn't really want to talk about, was hoping to keep a secret, but he was a good sport about it and actually said that he beat Eddie Lee Marburger back in 7-on-7, the only 7-on-7 loss of Eddie Lee Marburger's career. So he's got some get back on there. But yeah, those are the four guys. And then tight end, quickly to touch on some more pass catchers, Ismail Smith Flores, Nebraska transfer, played at Arlington Martin, and man, I mean, Ivan, this guy's 6'5". He's different, man. You see that dude. And he's like, hey, man, big dudes like that shouldn't move that fast and be that nimble. But he's about 6'5", and I think maybe about 225 maybe. I don't know what his exact weight is listed at now. It might be 245.
Just at 255 now. How about that?
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I talked to him about because he played receiver in high school. I talked to him during fall camp about, what, making that move. He was like, yeah, I'm still the same guy, just 20, 30 pounds heavier. And now he's beating up linebackers and safeties as opposed to cornerbacks. So yeah, I mean, now if you want to take a dive into the backfield, man, I mean, why don't you give us a rundown of those what's projecting like some guys that'll be rotating in and out and handling some ball carries, some carries out of the UTRGV backfield.
Yeah, man. And let's start with the guy we talked about already. You mentioned his interview. We plugged it in earlier, but Nate Denny, man, coming over from Yale. The guy just looks like he's gonna run through you. Typical, ball carrying looking. He's a scary dude to look at, man. I wouldn't want to line up across from him. He looks like he can run through you coming over from Yale. And then, it could be him, or I don't want to,
I,
mispronounce his
I
name.
got you. I got you. I got you. That's our guys, Javensky, Schlenbaker, Washington native. Him and Nate Denny. They're the two old guys there in the locker room and in the running back room. Nate Denny's a grad transfer. Javensky, who I've interviewed a couple of times, man. Just a gem, man. He's just a gem of a person on and off the field. His story: he was born in Haiti, was orphaned became an orphan with his sister at an early age, placed into an orphanage, and then eventually he started. His eventual mom was on a mission trip in Haiti, fell in love with Javensky, who was the smallest kid in his orphanage. And then, as they were getting ready to leave Javensky, I mean, to leave Haiti, Port-au-Prince, Haiti, there in 29, and an earthquake hit Port-au-Prince, Haiti, in January 2010. And that kind of led to this whole road for Javensky kind of finding his way here, but he eventually his mother and father Kendra and Brett Schlenbaker eventually able to bring him and his sister home, and he's been in Washington. He's been in Washington ever since. Spent 3 years at Washington State, and then now this is his first year in the Rio Grande Valley. Him and Nate Denny are going to form the top 1-2 punch here in the Rio Grande Valley. They're kind of co-starters there in the backfield, both two dogs. You know what I mean? And I expect a lot from this 1-2 punch here for UTRGV.
Yeah, man. And just to kind of keep it in the running back room, we got two redshirt freshmen that are projected to be behind him. One we already talked about, Fabian Garcia, Valley guy, San Benito guy, but you can't count the other guy out, TJ Demon out of Bernie, man. Led the team to a state championship in 2022, over 2,700 career rushing yards and 32 touchdowns. And the dude's a dog, man. Same as Fabian. He's not the biggest, but if you give him the ball, he'll make something happen. So that running back room is loaded. There's a lot more guys we can get into in that running back room. You talked about Jamal Pauly a little bit. You got Broderick Taylor over from Corpus Christi Miller that also came in earlier this year, and
Yeah,
just a loaded running back room there. But those four guys, it looks like they got a good one. Like they can have a whole rotation there if they wanted to.
yeah. It's a good deep room, and yeah, like you said, they were all freshmen coming into this one, so that's why they brought in a couple older guys to kind of lead the way, and they've been doing that. So yeah, and then of course, got to give a shout out to Brendan Carroll. He's another running back there in the UTRGV running back room. Done some good things here in fall camp, and then of course, I mean, at quarterback we got Eddie Lee Marburger, who we talked about earlier, Sherryland Pioneer, is coming from UTSA. He's a stud, man, and he's now running this offense. So really looking forward to watching Eddie Lee do his thing and being home here in the Rio Grande Valley. Then behind him, we got Aiden Jacobson, who played his high school ball at Ingleside. And I've been one of your guys who you covered in high school. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Axel Chavez Jr.?
The dude's a baller, man. I got to see him play against Harlingen High his senior year. Saw him in the playoffs against San Benito. The kid can flat out play. He's coming over from Laredo United. Left there as the program leader in passing yards with over 7,000, over almost 7,000 yards, 78 passing touchdowns. He's just a stud, man. And you've seen the work he put in. I remember seeing him come in, and he's definitely put on some muscle. He looks like he's ready whenever, if his numbers caught, he looks like him, or even Aiden. They're both ready to go. But I remember talking to him when he had committed to UTRGV. I did a little story on him before they played Harlingen, and he said coming to the Valley felt like home. Laredo's not that far off from us. It's 956 too. Hey, why not stay in the 956 and come to the Rio Grande Valley? And it's exciting to see him there in the backfield and just really see his growth there. And we don't know what the future holds for him. But he's definitely, put in the work. He looks ready to go if he needs to.
Absolutely, yeah. Him and Aiden, man, as Coach Bush has said, some days it's 2A and 2B. Both those guys are, you know what I mean, grinding and putting in the work. So, yeah, it should be fun to see those guys. And if Coach Bush has said he also wants to get all three of them, Eddie plus those other two guys in games. Of course, Eddie starting those other two guys in games early here in non-conference play. So, yeah, we'll see how what the offense is looking like here as the Vaqueros get started with week one against Sul Ross State. And Ivan, we'll jump onto the other side of the ball. I mean, where do you want to start? You want to start in the trenches? You want to start with that linebacking core, or do you want to start in the secondary?
Why don't we start in the secondary? Let's start at safety with one of the guys that, has really made himself a leader on this team, Marcus Hurd Jr., man. I mean, and it's not even just on the football field. We go cover other UTRGV games, and who do you see there kind of helping, doing his thing there? Marcus Hurd Jr., man. The kid's just a leader, not just, on the field, but off the field. He's someone that I'd want on my team leading that defense. And the dude on the field, he makes plays, man. He's flying to the ball, breaking up passes. He's making tackles. So Marcus Hurd Jr. I mean, you've got to see him a little more. You've got to talk to him a little more. I mean, just talk about that him being that heartbeat of that defense, especially with such a young group.
Yeah, yeah, he's a stud back there, man. He was one of the first guys to transfer. He played. He's actually from Bryan, Texas. Played college football at Davidson, and then before transferring here, one of the first transfers to the program. But yeah, as you said, Ivan, I mean, you said it all. He's a stud. Dude, he's a dude on and off the field, and he's going to play a key role here for the Vaqueros in year one. So yeah, really looking forward to seeing MJ Hurd, and then got to give a shout out to Elijah Graham, another dude there at the safety spot who's been really strong since transferring in June, and then at the other safety spot, free safety, TJ Neal there. He transferred into UTRGV in the spring for spring ball, and he's made an impact right away. Older guy leading that secondary room, and then on the outside we got Logic Hudgens and Dorian Blackwell. Dorian Blackwell, he's a stud. He played at Nevada actually, and then Logic Hudgens, he played at Buffalo and at FIU. So both these guys, 6'1", 6'2", some studs, add some height in the secondary, and both of them are the real deal there. Playing, adding some, as we said, adding some size, adding some experience there to that UTRGV secondary, and then man, we got to touch on the nickelback position, also known as the star position, Elijah Prosser. He's a redshirt freshman, one of two redshirt freshmen starting on defense. We'll get into the other in a bit. But Elijah Prosser, he's an absolute dog, man. And you need your nickelback to be a dog because they got to defend the pass. Sometimes they got to guard those quick slot receivers that can route you up. They got to be able to guard tight ends that come their way, or, you know what I mean, whatever comes their way in zone. And they also got to step up there and mix it up against the run, and be a box defender. So Elijah Prosser, man, he's a stud. Played high school football in Manor, and yeah, like I said, one of the only redshirt freshmen starting on this defense that wanted to get older. But hey, man, no, you know what I mean. This guy just does his thing. So it doesn't matter what age you are. If you're a baller, you'll get on the field. And Elijah Prosser, man, absolute baller. So yeah, and then we'll move to the linebacker room. Ivan, if you want to introduce us to those top two linebackers coming in the UTRGV defense.
Yeah, so at linebacker, our projected starters are Spencer Rich and Jaden Haygood, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not too familiar with the guys, but I mean, you've seen them. There's a reason we projected them to be at the top. So, I mean, where do these guys stack up? What has stood out to you early on from these two guys right there?
Man, so Spencer Rich, he's from Utah Tech. He's a graduate transfer guy. He already has two. I think he might already have 2 or 3 degrees, man. He's working on a third or fourth one. He's a stud, man. And it's not because he's been in school for long. He's just, you know what I mean. That start got done so early, and he started out at Memphis, transferred to Utah Tech, and has degrees from both. Now here's at UTRGV trying to collect another one. But yeah, he should be one of the big players there at the middle linebacker spot in the Vaqueros defense. They run like a 3-4 hybrid, also in and out of nickel. They're very multiple. So, but yeah, usually when they have two middle linebackers on the field, Spencer Rich is one of them, and the other one, Jaden Haygood, another redshirt freshman. The other one that I alluded to, I mean, he came played high school football at Converse Judson. We know that name down here really well, at Converse Judson, because they're probably beating us up in football, man. But yeah, linebacker, absolute stud, flies to the ball. He's another guy that, you know what I mean. He's proven that he's been here since day one, proven that he deserves that spot, and here he is setting to start the season at the middle linebacker spot. And then we'll dive into the trenches, Ivan. I mean, let's start with a guy who we talked about earlier, from your alma mater, actually.
Yes, sir. Nathan Huerta, man. I mean, he was, like I mentioned already, he was a dog at Harlingen High. And, the Harlingen High is known to have strong defensive players, but I mean, his senior year, 50 total tackles, 14 sacks, five pass deflections. I mean, those are just impressive numbers. And he's kind of worked his way up. I mean, he went Southwestern his first year, goes to Texas State for his sophomore, or his or his true sophomore year, and then his redshirt sophomore year at Texas State. Now he's back home, and the kid's impressive. He's not that tall. I mean, he's not the biggest, but he's going to get in there. He's going to get dirty, and he's not afraid to get to that work in the trenches. And he's got a little brother at Harlingen High. Maybe he'll come and join him next year. I don't know. His little brother's a senior right now. He's a Cardinals running back, but the Vaqueros got a dog right there in the trenches, and I think we both kind of knew when he came back, is like, this guy's going to work his way into the lineup. I mean, there's a reason he was at Texas State already. Texas State has really started to grow as a football program, and now he's coming back home, so I'm not surprised there. And then just to kind of keep things going, let's talk a little bit about Ian Box. If I'm not mistaken, he was the first transfer in program history. Went to Seguin at high school, spent 2 years at Lamar, and then came to UTRGV. Man, he was one of the first guys to come in, and just tell us a little bit about Ian Box and what he brings there at the defensive end position.
Yeah, Ian Box, man, he's intense. He's a dog there at the defensive end, outside linebacker position. It just depends if they're in nickel or 3-4 or whatever. But yeah, man, he'll put his hand in the dirt, or stand, you know what I mean, and be ready there to set the edge. But yeah, he's a stud, man, there on the outside. And another guy who we touched on earlier, Amari Pouncey, also really big there at projects to play a big role as a defensive end. Played basketball his whole high school career. Only played 4 games of football in high school, and now here he is playing D1 college football. And then Nick Fernandez, man, he came from Arizona. He's from San Pedro, California. Had a good interview with him earlier this week. So Nick Fernandez, he's a beast, man. He's there in the defensive tackle spot. Jaden Wincher, another guy there in defensive tackle. But a guy that you want on your team is Hank Philomar. He's a defensive end, Louisiana Tech transfer, and man, he's an absolute dog there at the edge position for this UTRGV defense as they get started here in year one. That wraps up a look at the UTRGV defense, what they're projected to look like here in week one. And the special teams unit, I talked about him earlier from Blinn. Connor Cortez should be UTRGV's long snapper, Bryson Gardner at kicker, and Nathaniel Wallace Dilling there at punter. So yeah, UTRGV, I mean, these guys have been working, competing against each other, grinding for that spot. And you know what I mean? Some guys that aren't in that first group, they're ready and willing to make plays. They've been balling out, and it's a team effort, man. It's guys go down left and right in football. You know what I mean? Guys pass each other on the depth chart. You know what I mean? Every day. So all these guys putting in work to be part of something historic here at UTRGV in year one. And Ivan, that history starts 7 p.m. Saturday. I mean, UTRGV's first opponent. Why don't you give us get us started as we look ahead to Saturday and week one?
I mean, to be real, the kickoff is going to start way before that, man. These people are going to be out there. They're going to be tailgating, but it's exciting, man. They opened the season against Sul Ross State. It's a Division II team from the Lone Star Conference. They went 3-8 in 2024, and I think it's a good game for UTRGV to see kind of where they match up. Sul Ross State, like I mentioned, 3-8 a season ago, but they did pick up some wins against some teams like Eastern New Mexico. And Sul Ross State, they do bring their starting quarterback from last year. Andrew Martinez had 1,600 passing yards, 13 touchdowns. He also was their leading rusher. Not a lot of rushing yards to go around last year, only 339 and 2 touchdowns for Martinez. So they do got some consistency there at quarterback. Can UTRGV's defense kind of slow them down? You're facing an experienced guy. Yeah, it's the D2 level, but experience matters. And you're talking about UTRGV hasn't played a game, some of these guys, in 2 years. But and a receiver, you got Yamil Oaxaca 45 receptions, 510 yards, and 7 touchdowns for Sul Ross State. And I think it's a good test. Like I said, it's not just some pushover either. You're not playing, some prison league team or whatever. You're playing a team now, a Division II team. They've had players that are established, so it's going to be fun to see. Like you mentioned, 7 p.m. this Saturday. I'm used to saying Friday because of high school football, man, but 7 p.m. Saturday at Robert and Janet Vackar Stadium. This new chapter of football begins. I mean, Sul Ross State, in my opinion, a really good test for UTRGV and how they kind of stack up after, all these years of kind of leading up to this moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And this Sul Ross team, their head coach Lee Hayes, UTRGV head coach Travis Bush actually worked with him on the Houston staff in 2012, I believe. They spent a year on the same staff, so they know each other. They're familiar with each other. There was no tape shared. I mean, hey, there's no film on UTRGV yet. There in Sul Ross, it's Coach Hayes' first year and entering as a new head coach and taking over that program. So not much to watch of you know what I mean? What they as far as on film, what they did last year because it's a brand new staff. So they didn't trade spring games, trying to keep all secrets hidden. You know what I mean? Until 7 p.m. Saturday, and we'll get to see it all live, man. We're really looking forward to it. College football, Division I football, finally hits the Rio Grande Valley. A process that's been years in the making. It's just been building. The buzz has been crazy. You know what I mean? You've seen the commercials, you hear it on the radio, you see it in public,
Billboards, everything.
billboards, you see it on social media, you see Eddie Lee Marburger dancing on social media. Just all sorts of things, man. It's really exciting times here in the Rio Grande Valley as we're just now days away from kickoff against Sul Ross State. So UTRGV football gonna make program history. I mean, it's just so crazy how here we are. You know what I mean? It's just really unbelievable, Ivan. Just yeah, your final thoughts on what's about to go down Saturday and the start of something new.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I don't know about you, but for me, I never pictured, UTRGV or any college football team being here, man. High school football was as big as it got for us, Friday night lights, Thursday night lights, whatever. Now, it's a new chapter and I'm just excited to be a part of it in some sense. Obviously, like I mentioned, we're not going to be on the field, we probably could still knock some heads. So, but, we get to be on that sideline, we get to experience this firsthand and especially being our hometown, our alma mater, it just means that much more.
Yeah, it's yeah, just unbelievable, man. So shout out to the 12 Valley guys. Shout out to the 101 guys from around Texas, around the nation, coming here to be a part of something new, betting on themselves, betting on the coaching staff, on Coach Bush and all these guys, the staff that he's put together with, which has NFL experience up and down. You know what I mean? That coaching staff that we've seen and high level D1 playing and coaching experience, and now it's all coming together. It's been like I said, Coach Bush was hired in December 2022. Now here we are, August 2025, getting ready to start college football here in the Rio Grande Valley. It's going to be exciting, man. We'll be coming at you guys on a weekly basis with more episodes of the Valley Ball Podcast, breaking down everything UTRGV football, recapping the week before, looking ahead to the upcoming week and that upcoming matchup for UTRGV, and then of course taking you inside the UTRGV football team with some interviews and some talks with some coaches, some players as UTRGV makes program history with its inaugural football season here in the Rio Grande Valley. So with that, that's the first episode of the Valley Ball Podcast. Thank you for joining us. For Ivan and I, we'll catch you next time.